While much of the world remains captivated by ChatGPT, Ernie Bot quietly advances. Purpose-built by Baidu for China's digital sovereignty. The narrative in the West often revolves around who has the flashiest demo, the biggest model, or the most viral chatbot. But in the East, the stakes are different. Ernie Bot is not just another GPT clone. It's the spearhead of China's attempt to decouple from American AI dominance, economically, politically, and even philosophically. And yet, it's still widely perceived as being behind OpenAI's flagship model, GPT-4. That perception isn't entirely wrong, but it's also dangerously incomplete. Because while GPT-4 dominates benchmarks, developer mindshare, and the global API market, Ernie Bot is operating in a fundamentally different context, with different constraints and a very different endgame. So in this video, we'll unpack the real story, why Ernie Bot hasn't caught up to GPT yet, and more importantly, why beating GPT might not even be Baidu's goal. To understand why Ernie Bot hasn't caught up yet, we need to first acknowledge what GPT-4 represents. OpenAI's GPT models, especially GPT 3.5 and GPT-4, have become the global gold standard. They dominate not just in performance, but in perception. Backed by Microsoft's Azure cloud infrastructure, fine-tuned by billions of real-world prompts, and supported by a vibrant developer ecosystem, GPT is everywhere. In your browser, in your apps, and even in your classroom. OpenAI's advantage lies in what the West does best: open platforms, developer-first thinking, and product velocity. New features roll out fast, APIs are widely accessible, and demo culture fuels viral growth. In contrast, China's AI landscape is shaped by a completely different set of forces: national regulations, data localization, GPU restrictions, and above all, political alignment. Ernie Bot isn't competing in the same arena as GPT. While GPT evolves through global feedback loops, Ernie evolves through state-guided priorities. So yes, GPT is ahead. For now, it excels at English, at general-purpose reasoning, at creative tasks. But China isn't trying to build a chatbot to impress Silicon Valley. It's building an AI foundation to run a nation of 1.4 billion people. And that changes everything. Ernie Bot may not top global benchmarks, but within China, it's playing to its strengths. Unlike GPT, which is optimized for open-ended multilingual use cases, ERNIE is trained with a laser focus on the Chinese language, Chinese logic, and Chinese regulatory constraints. That means it performs exceptionally well in domains like law, healthcare, education, and government services, where linguistic nuance, compliance, and localized knowledge matter more than creativity or wit. Its architecture is knowledge-enhanced, integrating structured data and knowledge graphs, not just text. This allows Ernie to reason, not just respond. In tasks like legal document analysis or medical diagnostics, it often outperforms GPT 3.5. And in Chinese-specific benchmarks, it's sometimes on par with GPT-4. But Ernie does have real blind spots. English fluency and cross-cultural reasoning are limited. It lacks the global developer ecosystem that fuels OpenAI's growth. It's largely confined within China's digital walls, limiting real-world data feedback from global users. And perhaps most importantly, Ernie operates under tighter content controls, meaning certain open-ended creative prompts simply aren't allowed. This makes the model appear more rigid, more constrained, especially when compared to GPT's fluid personality. But here's the twist. That constraint is not a bug, it's a feature, designed to align AI with the state's vision of responsible use. Ernie isn't just a chatbot, it's part of a broader national infrastructure. And once you see that, you'll understand why China's strategy is not about catching up to GPT, it's about building something entirely different. To truly compare, Ernie Bot and GPT is to compare two philosophies of intelligence. In the West, AI is a product, a platform for startups, a tool for creators. OpenAI's model is rooted in the Silicon Valley ethos: build fast, iterate often, and let the market decide what's useful. That's why GPT is available through open APIs, integrated into hundreds of apps, and constantly fine-tuned through public feedback. In China, AI is not just a product, it's a pillar of national infrastructure. Baidu isn't building Ernie Bot to entertain or to spark viral demos. They're building it to serve public systems, from courts to classrooms, hospitals to high-speed trains. The question isn't, what can Ernie say? It's, what should Ernie be allowed to say? And who decides? This divergence leads to vastly different priorities. OpenAI prioritizes scale, creativity, and general intelligence. Baidu prioritizes alignment, sovereignty, and state integration. In the West, the challenge is governance, how to regulate something already deployed. In China, the approach is governance first. Build the model within a regulated framework from the start. So, when people say Ernie is less impressive than GPT, they're not wrong by Western standards. But judged by China's own objectives, Ernie isn't underperforming. It's executing a different mission, one built not around virality, but around strategic stability. And that might prove even more powerful in the long run. Ernie Bot hasn't beaten GPT yet. But the gap is closing, and the reasons why reveal a tectonic shift in the AI race. Let's start with the foundation. While OpenAI depends on NVIDIA GPUs and Microsoft Azure, Baidu is building its own silicon. The Kunlun chip, developed in-house, now powers Ernie's training and inference, bypassing US hardware restrictions. Baidu's PaddlePaddle, the Chinese alternative to TensorFlow and PyTorch, has over 4.8 million developers. This isn't just a tech stack, it's a sovereign AI infrastructure, from chip to cloud to app. Ernie 4.0 has already matched GPT 3.5 in Chinese tasks, and Ernie 5.0, in development, promises to be fully multimodal, more autonomous, and deeply embedded across government and industrial use cases. But here's what really matters. China doesn't need to build an AI that serves the world. It just needs to build one that serves China, a domestic market of 1.4 billion people, fully digitized and strategically aligned. While GPT seeks global reach through APIs, Ernie is focused on vertical dominance inside China, where it's already running. Public school education, legal document processing, smart cities and autonomous fleets, healthcare systems and industrial robots. Ernie isn't catching up by imitating GPT. It's evolving on a separate track, optimized for scale, control, and deployment at a national level. And once that track is fully built, GPT may no longer be relevant, at least inside the world's largest AI market. So, will Ernie Bot ever beat GPT? That might be the wrong question. Because while the West measures AI by benchmarks, API adoption, and media buzz, China is measuring something else entirely: strategic self-reliance, national deployment, AI as state infrastructure. Ernie Bot doesn't need to be more creative than GPT. It doesn't need to power 1,000 global startups. It just needs to work, at scale, in Chinese, and in alignment with government systems. And in that mission, it's already succeeding. ChatGPT might be the brain of the open internet, but Ernie is becoming the operating system of China's digital future. In classrooms, Ernie is tutoring rural students. In courtrooms, it's parsing complex legal cases. In factories, it's coordinating robots and workflows. This isn't just a demo. This is production AI, serving a billion people. Meanwhile, the West is debating AI regulation, arguing over training data, and hitting GPU bottlenecks. Ernie doesn't need permission. It has a mandate. And that's why China may not just catch up, it may pull ahead. Because in the race to integrate AI into everyday life, the winner won't be the most viral, it will be the most embedded.